The future of art isn't coming. It's already here. And it's not just about new tools or trends, it's about a battle. A quiet but urgent one between two forces. One is machine made content, endlessly generated, optimized, and algorithmically perfect. The other art, human art, raw, flawed, soulful, and timeless. In this video, we're going to explore how legendary artists like the Beatles, Michael Jackson, and global disruptors like BTS and a rare few others are doing something AI can't replicate and never will. We'll break down why AI can imitate style but not soul, how artists like BTS build living, breathing worlds, not just content, how Michael Jackson didn't just perform music, he reshaped the art form, how the Beatles expanded music, why depth, meaning, and imperfection are the future of creativity, and how the next generation will consume art in a way that makes human authenticity essential. So, if you've ever wondered, is there any other artist in the world that can outdo AI? This video is for you. The lack of awareness. People love to hate AI. They call it dangerous, unnatural, unethical. And yet most fail to realize it's already everywhere. Unless you've completely disconnected from modern life entirely, AI has been a quiet presence in your decisions, your habits, even your emotions. The problem isn't that AI suddenly arrived. The problem is that we never noticed how much it's shaped us all along. That's where the real danger lies. Our lack of awareness gives AI a power it does not inherently have. AI was already in word processors autocorrecting our sentences in early smartphones before the public knew what to do with them. We've let Google and other search engines shape how we think, what we trust, and even how we argue. We've written academic papers, marketing plans, and creative proposals based on what AI-enhanced algorithm told us was true. It's optimized machines, composed music, corrected pitch on recordings, and done it so seamlessly that we've normalized its presence without understanding its influence. Now that it's writing poems or generating scripts, people are calling it a threat to humanity as if creativity was the last sacred space. But the panic, quite honestly, is a little late. This outrage is not about ethics, it's about ego for most people. AI didn't become dangerous when it started creating, it became visible. The same thing happened with social media. We warned it would compromise privacy, distort beauty standards, and empower anonymous cruelty. And we were right. But it wasn't the platform themselves that did this, it was how we used them. Social media became exactly what people feared, not because it was evil, but because we refused to take responsibility. The same is now happening with AI. We're more worried about the tool than the humans operating it. But AI is not sentient. It doesn't act on its own. It doesn't create unless someone prompts it. It doesn't decide unless someone designs it. And that's what we keep forgetting. AI is not the enemy. Our denial, our laziness, and our unwillingness to examine how we got here, that's the real threat. Future of consumers of art. Just as millennials never lived without internet, Gen Z and Gen Alpha have never lived without visible, integrated AI. They didn't choose AI, they were born into it. And while older generations criticize their dependence on technology, the reality is we built the world they inherited. We normalized devices, outsourced memory to search engines, and created digital lifestyles. They were simply fluent in the language we introduced. That fluency has shaped how they define not just life but creativity. They don't view AI as separate or artificial. It's embedded, a utility, not a novelty. And this changes how they will define art. Their understanding of real versus machine made will differ. They may know what's AI generated and what's human created, but they won't necessarily value one over the other based on principle alone. They'll engage with both, appreciate both, and categorize them differently. This is already how cultural shifts have always worked. Just think about it. In the 1500s, opera was the elite art form. When ballroom dancing and more casual music emerged, it was seen as trash until it wasn't. Graffiti was once vandalism. Now it hangs in galleries. Art evolves. Taste shifts. And just like past generations refuse to accept new mediums, we now resist the fact that young people will define art on different terms. They don't separate digital and physical life. As Wei Rong V noted, Gen Z and Alpha don't move between online and offline worlds the way millennials or Gen X do. They live in a unified experience, and they're aware of what AI does, how it helps, and how it can be manipulated. This means the traditional way we judge art by the product alone won't hold. Who created it and why will matter. If there's no human intention behind the work, it may still be consumed, but it won't be revered. AI will create, that's inevitable. But creation without a soul will live in a different category. Useful, maybe, but not transformative. The next generation won't fear AI art, but they'll reserve reverence for something else, the story only a human can live and choose to tell. Art will be redefined. Product versus art. A fundamental split is coming. What is the product and what is art? In the age of AI, this question won't be philosophical, it will be necessary. For generations, we judged creative work based on the final output. Was it beautiful, memorable? Did it sell? We focused on the result, often ignoring who made it and why. And I guess that's for a good reason. We don't want our biases on humans jade our judgment of art. That model worked until now. Because AI can produce the product, it can paint, compose, write, edit. It can blend styles, mimic emotions, and predict trends. It's fast, efficient, and dangerously good at making things that look and sound right. But here's the truth. The product alone is no longer enough. If a machine can replicate the form, then what makes something art will depend entirely on the presence of a human behind it. The future of art will be defined by origin and intention, not just what was created, but who created it and what they lived through to do so. If no real life, no real emotion, no risk or transformation went into the process, then it becomes something else. An impressive product, but not art. We are reaching a point where the creator's identity, struggle, and vision will matter just as much, if not more, than the final form. Art will no longer be judged in isolation, it will be judged in context. This shift isn't about fear, it's about value. Because AI doesn't suffer, it doesn't long for anything, it doesn't love, or lose, or grieve. It can replicate pain in verse, but it can't feel it. It can simulate bravery, but it can't take risks. And that's where human art will live, in the messy, unpredictable depth of being alive. The more AI advances in technological production, the more we'll crave what it can't replicate: imperfection, contradiction, vulnerability. So if you're only offering polish and trend, AI has you beat. But if you're offering soul, if your work carries something only your life could give, you are the definition of art in this new world. Elevation of standards. Only the mediocre should be scared. Now let's be clear. Having a human creator may be the baseline for calling something art, but to make an impact, to move people, to matter, quality still reigns. Future audiences will consume both AI and human-made content. They will know what's made by a machine and what's made by a person. They'll still enjoy both, but they will value them differently. AI-generated work may be technically brilliant, catchy, and even moving, but it will live in a separate category: efficient, optimized, and ultimately disposable. Which means artists today aren't just competing with each other. They're competing with machines trained on billions of moments of human joy, loss, heartbreak, and healing. Machines can identify patterns in emotional responses and produce hits on demand. That's what we're up against. Not creative intention, but algorithmic perfection. It's intimidating, but also clarifying. Because AI doesn't know how to be brave. It can't make a creative decision that risks failure. It doesn't create out of a heartbreak. It doesn't create to survive. Only humans can do that. AI can craft a song based on the most successful love ballads of the past 50 years, but it can't fall in love, lose someone, and make something beautiful out of the ashes. It can only remix what's been done. It cannot originate from something irrationally bold, spiritually painful, or chaotically hopeful. That is our edge. So, yes, if your work is surface level, formulaic, designed to chase trends, AI will do it better. If you're relying on polish, you are replaceable. But if your work is messy, raw, deeply personal, if it carries scars and soul, you're offering something a machine can never have. Art. Substance as the foundation and form as its celebration. All art is built from two essential elements: substance and form. Substance is the heart, the message, the intention, the lived truth behind the work. Form is the vessel, the sound, the color, the medium that brings it into the world. In traditional models, form often took the spotlight. We praised the visuals, melodies, structures, sometimes more than what they actually meant. But as AI rises, that imbalance is no longer sustainable. AI can master form. It can imitate technique, structure, genre. It can write a poem that rhymes, compose a melody that hits, and generate images that stun. But what it can't do is create substance, because substance requires life. It requires experience, confusion, grief, resistance, growth. It requires a human being. That's why substance will become the non-negotiable foundation of future of art. Without it, all you have is a product, one that might entertain but won't linger, one that fills the space but leaves no mark. But that doesn't mean form disappears. In fact, form is being redefined and expanded. Art is no longer tied to one format. A single message may now stretch across music, film, visuals, literature, physical space, and digital platforms. Form is becoming multi-dimensional. A song becomes a short film, a poem becomes choreography, an album becomes a lived narrative with fans decoding, celebrating, and contributing to the meaning. This evolution is already happening. Audiences today aren't content just watching. They want to enter the story, feel it, discuss it, even expand it. They want art they can live with, not just consume. And for that to happen, depth is essential. Because without substance, there's nothing for them to interpret. No meaning to discover, no experience to embody. That's the shift. Substance must lead, form must elevate. The message comes first. The expression follows. In this new era, AI can dazzle with form, but only humans can anchor it in something real. The consumption of art. As virtual spaces like the metaverse evolve and become more accessible, how we consume art is changing, and fast. We're moving beyond watching and listening. We're entertaining an era where art is something we step into, not just observe. Because when every digital space becomes a place of stimulation and interaction, simple consumption no longer satisfies. In the near future, just watching a film or listening to a song will feel passive, background noise, easily generated, easily replaced. That's the fate of AI generated content, optimized, convenient, but emotionally distant. But if you want people to stop scrolling, to engage, reflect, remember, you'll need to give them more. You'll need to give them experience. They'll want what their devices can't deliver. They'll want to stand inside a story to feel the art around them, to move, touch, and connect, not just with the work, but with the artist and with others. Audiences will no longer settle for being spectators. They'll expect to be interpreters, participants, and witnesses. BTS, Jyn, and Suga, and the evolution of performance formats. 2 weeks ago, BTS's Jyn started his tour. But this wasn't just a tour, it was a glimpse into the next evolution of performance, one that doesn't treat the audience as passive observers but as active participants in the art itself. What Jin is doing with this story builds on something BTS has always done: treat art as a multi-sensory narrative experience. Yes, they've released global hits like Butter, Dynamite, but those are outliers in a discography built on introspective storytelling, philosophical references, and emotional continuity. BTS never limited their art to albums or stages. They created a career spanning narrative, weaving together music, literature, film, live streams, exhibitions, webtoons, and more. Each era reflects not just their evolution as artists, but as people. Their songs are layered, built on myth, psychology, literature, and personal history. They didn't just create content, they created a universe. And within that universe, their fans, ARMY, aren't just supporters. They are interpreters, researchers, storytellers, and co-creators. They translate lyrics, analyze symbols, connect references, and build global projects that mirror the message BTS delivers. BTS's art has already moved far beyond music. They've turned concerts into multi-day festivals. Their pop-ups, museums, and live streams create immersive spaces where fans don't just consume, they feel, decode, and reflect. But until recently, the live concert format remained largely traditional. That's what's now shifting. Suga's solo tour marked a turning point, using the stage not just to perform songs but to conclude a narrative trilogy, turning the concert into the final chapter of a deeply personal story. Now Jin is taking it further, introducing interactivity that turns the audience into part of the performance. It's no longer about showing up to watch, it's about showing up to participate. And if this is where BTS is headed, their future concerts may evolve into fully immersive storytelling experiences, merging music, narrative, and real time interaction. The artist won't just perform the story, the audience will live it with them. This isn't just a new way to do concerts, it's the beginning of a new artistic format altogether. And while this is an Asian entertainment channel, I cannot claim that BTS actually started this revolution. They are clearly carrying it forward. The transformation of art has always followed cycles of disruptions. The Beatles turned the album into a conceptual narrative. They pioneered the music video, not just as a promotion, but as expression, tying sound, image, and identity together in bold new ways. Michael Jackson took it further, fusing music, dance, cinema, and stage into global spectacles. He turned concerts into full-scale productions and music videos into cultural events. He didn't just perform the music, he made it a myth. And there are a few others, but now BTS is reshaping the entire ecosystem, not only through sound or performance, but through structure, philosophy, and technology. They've built something that lives across platforms, across formats, across realities. In a world of algorithms and infinite content, they've chosen story, symbolisms, and substance. In a market that rewards singles and streams, they've crafted a long form narrative, one that spans multiple albums, solo projects, and transmedia storytelling. Their innovation may go unnoticed by those unfamiliar with the language or the context, But that doesn't make it any less revolutionary because BTS isn't just adapting to the future of art, they've already built it. They've created a model where fans don't just consume, they collaborate. Performances aren't just events, they're chapters. Music isn't just sound, it's a living archive of emotion, philosophy, and growth. And if this evolution seems slow to be recognized, that's not unusual. The Beatles weren't hailed as cultural architects until years after their split. Michael Jackson's full impact wasn't understood until the end of his career. Legacy often lags behind vision. BTS is creating in real time while critics still debate their legitimacy. But one day, when Gen Z and Gen Alpha define the dominant culture, when the market finally mirrors their values, when the language of creativity shifts completely, the record will show. BTS didn't just survive the AI age, they created an artistic blueprint that machines can never replicate. Because they've always understood in a world full of noise, the only thing that endures is soul. I think what we often neglect to appreciate or acknowledge or even recognize is the fact that the sheer concept of what is substantial, of what is beautiful, what is acceptable, what is decent, what is of great quality is also changing because the orientation and the environment and the world where the current generation is growing up in is changing. And so, no matter, I think, how much we fight for what we think is beautiful or what we think will be better for the entertainment industry or the music industry, it wouldn't matter because what we think to be of quality, that what we think to be beautiful and what we think to be a great piece of art will just not be for the current generation. And until we actually level with them in this, until we actually walk a mile in their shoes, we will never really appreciate or understand how they pick and choose the kind of art that they consume, the kind of art that they make, and the kind of art that they will surround their world in. I know that's a lot and it's a little deep, but that's what gets you when I only have 2 hours of sleep. I would love to hear your thoughts, though. Leave it in the comment section below. I am very much looking forward to great discussions with you. If you ended up liking this video, please give it a like, subscribe, and hit that notification button. We upload videos almost every day, sometimes several videos in a day, and I hope that you get to watch them all. Of course, share the video. That's really what's driving traffic and also subscription, which is helping my channel a lot. Also, please follow me on X and on Instagram and also on Patreon. We have a lot of great discussions there. It's a vibrant community. We talk about Asian art, Asian music, Asian TV shows, drama, movies, celebrities, culture, or sometimes we just mess around. Follow us there. And there is a free tier just in case you want to try things out first. Thank you so much. Have a good one.